Hi, this is Arut Siva from Meditherapy. We have started a series of lecture under the topic Education Not Medication. What is it about is basically to understand the root cause of all diseases and disorders. In the last 20 years, I have been observing the number of cancer, obesity, diabetic, high blood pressure, so many diseases keep on rising. But if you look at what is the cause, actually it is basically some fundamental things which we are missing in our day-to-day life. Like how in a building, foundation is hidden under the soil. Likewise, root cause of many diseases is actually though they are in the plain sight, but we miss it. We are not taught how to identify the root cause of problem. For the last 17 years, I have been researching on why we are falling sick. Like for example, if you have a car and if you bang your car, the car doesn't do auto repair. You have to take it to a workshop to fix it. But if you bang your head, your body does auto repair. How is it? Our body came to this world after 4.2 billion years of evolution. We are a masterpiece. Our body is actually self-adapting and self-regulating mechanism. A lot of things happens within our body by itself, but we need to really identify what are the foundation things needed for our body to work, and if we provide them in the right order, our body knows what to do. Like for example, you take a seed and throw it into my office here, it doesn't become a plant. Why? The environment is not conducive. But likewise, if I throw it outside on the soil, the seed sprouts by itself. Likewise, for our body to heal, we need to know what is the foundations of life. And if we do that right, our body can adapt, can self-regulate and can heal itself. What I see now in this world is a lot of people, everybody knows, in fact, we all come into this world empty-handed and we go back empty-handed. But when we are in this world, we put so much focus on accumulating, protecting wealth, but neglecting health. And at the end, people try to use their wealth to recover health. It doesn't happen. Like one of my customers, she says, she was chasing cancer, chasing health after getting cancer. Why? Because until then, she totally neglected and ignored her own body. But once she was diagnosed with cancer, then she was chasing health. She's not alone. There are so many people in this world chasing health after they have been diagnosed or labeled with the disease. The foundations of this talk is basically to set you thinking and take self-responsibility and self-care. Like everybody wants to protect their wealth, but they wanted to hand over their body, which is their true asset, to a stranger's hand, and they wanted a miracle and a cure instantly. That doesn't happen in any way. Listen carefully to what I say and start thinking. So the way I conduct my programs is, first we talk about the problem, then we talk about the consequences of the problem, then we talk about how to prevent or reverse the problem we have. To help people to regain their health, I set up 3 companies. The first one is True Nutrition and Wellness Academy, purely focused on educating you. We teach you, coach you and mentor you so that after a while you will be totally independent and you really know how to take care of your own health. The next company is Medi Wellness. I want to convert every home into a wellness home. It means you will have certain devices at home. When you use it periodically in your life, you can forever stay healthy. So every home, I want it to be a wellness home. And third is Meditherapy, which I have now to do health assessments and treatments at the center. Everything is natural to help our body to heal itself. At Meditherapy, we have the world's best tools in preventive and regenerative healthcare. We use those tools to regenerate cell by cell in your body, and overall you gain total health. Currently, the problem in Western medicine is we look at body by systems. Like when we go into a hospital, there is nobody looking at us in totality. We are split by many departments, orthopedics, neurology, endocrinology, but there is no one department looking at us as totality. At Meditherapy, what I do is, I don't look at body by systems. I regenerate cell by cell from head tip to toe tip. And all 11 systems are totally covered and regenerated at the same time. So we have the world's best and the most sophisticated tools to help you regain your health naturally and safely. Core philosophy is, I want to create a doctor at every home through right education. And I want to convert every home to be a wellness home. And we wanted to establish this worldwide. My values, I believe strongly, are love, compassion, and service. And our company slogan is hope, health, and healing. My talks, how we design is basically to stimulate your critical thinking. I believe everyone knows Buddha. He comes out of the palace for the first time. What did he see? For the first time in his life, when he comes out, he saw 4 things: an old man, a sick man, a dead man, and a monk. And he only had one question to his charioteer: what's all this? Does this happen in my life too? The one-line answer from him set him apart when compared to all other kings. The simple answer was, from a poor man like me to a king like you, we all go through the same fate. At that instant, Prince Siddhartha became Gautama the Buddha. So what happened? It's the awakenings. For the first time, he was awakened in life with the sight of 4 things and one simple answer from his charioteer. That's why he's called Buddha, the awakened one. I'm going to make all of you as an awakened one like Buddha using my 5-step protocol. What are they? Number 1, be alert. Number 2, be awake. Number 3, be aware. Number 4, question anything and everything. Number 5, apply common sense. If you apply this 5-step protocol in your life to look at everything, trust me, you will be very successful. Look at his life history. He comes out, he was alerted by the sight of these 4 things. Then he started to awake. Then he was aware of the consequences. Then he started to question. That's how he left his palace, went out and started to question things. He applied common sense and became awakened, or the enlightened one. So that's how my education is going to be. We are all born intelligent until we go to a system of education and we come out thinking the same. So now, from now, you all be totally different. I always say, be thyself, know thyself. Very important words. Be thyself means you are open to receive things, you are open to see things what they are, open to analyze things, question facts and everything, but you are not allowing your feet to be swept away by the tides of change. That's be thyself. Then know thyself means you know everything about you. So these 2 again, remember, be thyself, know thyself. Now let's move on to how to apply these things in our day-to-day life. And most people think, oh, everything happens at a stroke of luck. No. Even the definition of luck is the meeting point of your alertness and all opportunities passing by. So if you are alert, awake, awakened, aware, question things, apply common sense, you will have a stroke of luck every single day in your life. It's just not once in a lifetime. So in my practice, I see one common thing. Almost every one of my cancer customer I saw, they all said 6 months ago, 1 year ago, when they did the regular blood test, all the facts and figures was good, perfect. Doctor said it's normal maybe, except a little bit elevated cholesterol, a little bit on the diabetic side, but nothing about the big C. But 6 months later, the fate changed for most of them. He said, you are now with 4th stage so-and-so cancer. It's a big question mark even for the customers and for me. How can a cancer come in 6 months? But actually a cancer starts 10, 12, 14 years ago. It's step by step, it grows deep inside, and by the time we detect it, it's already too late. And again, if you follow my steps, you can actually avoid and prevent a lot of diseases at the early stage. First, let me talk about what the word doctor means. Yes, do you know what it is? Actually, it comes from the Latin word docere. It means the doctor's role is to teach people how to stay healthy and take care of themselves. But is it happening now in our practice? No, you look at all of us. We study 10, 20 years in our life, but yet we don't even know anything about our body. I had a customer, he's a patent holder and very intelligent, have run successful big businesses, quite a big shot. But when his doctors told him you got liver cancer, for the first time he questioned the doctor back, liver cancer? Can you tell me where the liver is in my body? That's how dumb we are. What's the point in studying 10, 20 years without even knowing where our body parts are? And liver is one of the most important organ. And that's what he said. I was so ashamed. My wealth couldn't give me health. My education couldn't prevent me from getting disease. I was totally ignorant and stupid to an extent I didn't even know anything about my own body. So what's the use of my inventions, my patents? I am dying now. Doctor said I only got 3 months to live. See, that's how it is. It's a real fact. So that's why I'm very much focused on educating and empowering you with the right knowledge so that you know how to take care of yourself, like how you protect your wealth. Please take care of your health. Let's hear from a doctor what he says about what is the real duty of a doctor or a police. Please listen to him. He's an oncologist. He's from Tata Memorial Hospital, India, and I really salute him for being so blunt. And sadly, that's the reality. Most people have become agents of something, and we have been rammed down our throats some undesirable things which eventually take our life away.
I think a lot of people sitting here are doctors, and they know their subject very well. So I need not tell them about being an oncologist. I have already spoken, so I don't want to repeat what I have done. A message that I want to give to you all doctors sitting here are two. One, what is the highest level of professionalism? If you have to judge a professional, then what is the highest level of professionalism? And my take on that is when your job becomes meaningless. That means if doctors work towards making the medical profession meaningless, that is the highest level of professionalism that doctors can attain. What does that mean? When police works for making a society where there are no crimes, where a father and a mother work towards having children who do not make mistakes, when a doctor starts working in a society where there are no disease, that is what the medical society was meant for. And unfortunately what happens, due to poor mentorship, all the doctors currently they have become some agents who are looking after treatment of the illness, not preventing the illness. And this change has to start from within. This is not a change which comes from some policy which government of India takes that we should serve the rural people. Then only you will get your certificate or registration, or you will get the bond release. This is a sad state of affair that doctors do not want to go to rural area. Now, we can always blame the government that you don't have facility. But for scorpion bite, what Dr. Himat Rao is doing, for what Baba Amte is doing, Prakash Amte is doing, what Anand Bang is doing, they are writing papers in Lancet sitting in a rural area. They are our role model. Not we sitting in some fancy hospital with all the facility and yet we are not able to make a BMJ publication. It's the failure of us in our thinking. Now the second thing, because there is a paucity of time, in Gita it is said that we do two kinds of actions every day. Two kinds of action. One is called the Kriya That we do for our livelihood, that we do for our living. We have to earn money, we have to buy food, we have to help our children's education. So we do Kriya every day for our own living and for the living of our family. And mind it, every animal also does Kriya. So Kriya is what you do for your own living, and Karma is what you do to make change in others' lives. A human being was supposed to do Kriya as well as Karma. Unfortunately, we as doctors, we believe that by treating patients, we are doing Karma. Not at all. By being a doctor, you have chosen a profession to earn your livelihood as an engineer did, or as a driver did, or as a pilot did. A true definition of karma is selfless service for which you are not getting any returns. So doctors should stop believing that by doing kriya, they will, when they sit on the pearly gate, or when you are sitting at the Chitragupt, in front of Chitragupt, you will get the brownie point. No. What really makes difference is karma, which is beyond remuneration, which is selfless. And unless doctors change that perception that you are not God, God you will become only when you do karma, not when you do kriya. Thank you so much.
Very well, sir.
Now I want to share with you something from my doctor friend Kampon. He was the dean of Mahidol Medical University in Thailand. So when he came to my office, he flashed a slide. He said, he quoted a very famous quote from Voltaire, a French philosopher. Doctors are men who prescribe medicines of which they know little to cure diseases of which they know less in a human being of whom they know nothing. And this was presented by the head of a dean of a medical university. Look how intelligent he is. He knows actually we are all supposed to facilitate our body to heal itself than interfering it with invasive procedures. Now let's look at Singapore health statistics. On June 21, 2015, the Sunday Times reported a sharp rise in number diagnosed with cancer. It is 2015, and Director of National University Cancer Institute, Associate Professor Ching Wee Ju said, "This trend remains a concern as it means we have not been making much headway in the prevention of cancers." Because why? In 2018, even our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee, spoke that there are 37 people diagnosed with cancer in Singapore every single day. And the trend, as per newspaper, it's rising. But again, in 2017, actually, National Cancer Center chief spoke that cancers is not rising anymore, it is soaring. Rising means it's little by little. Soaring means it's like a flight taking off. So it means we have not done anything to prevent cancer in our society and in our life. This a government can't do, an educational institute can't do, a government policy can't do. Who can do? It's we who have to take responsibility to prevent getting cancer. That's the only way. Please don't expect a government or a hospital or an educational institute to provide you with all the tools to prevent. They can't, and it's not their duty. It is our primordial duty to guard our health, like how we guard our wealth. This is most important. Let's look at Dr. Mark Hyman, what he says. He says the way most doctors practice medicine right now isn't working. Medical students are trained to see the body as a collection of isolated parts instead of one whole system. This is totally wrong. When people call me by Arut-Siva, they call me my whole body, head to toe. They just don't refer my finger or nose or eye or ear. It's the whole thing. Likewise, we have to learn to look at body in totality. How I categorize from my 17 years of research, I categorized why we fall sick under 8 broad categories. 1. Air toxicity. 2. Water toxicity. 3. Food toxicity. 4. Environmental toxicity. 5. Lifestyle toxicity. 6. Mental and emotional toxicity. 7, spiritual toxicity. Number 8, genetic toxicity. We are now a toxic being, that's what I can say. In the past, people live 90, 100, 120 in a very healthy manner, at least 100 and above. If you look at people living in blue zones, they all reach 90, 100 without much problems. But look at people living in cities. Now I see from 2018, the trend I see among people are cancers are getting younger and younger. Most of the people I saw recently are in the 30s and 40s, which is quite worrying. So we really need to work on this, and now in this video I'm going to talk in detail about air toxicity. Why air is very important. To me this is number one. So I repeat, air, water, food, environment, lifestyle, mental and emotional, spiritual and genetic. Out of this 8, air is number one. We can live without food for 3 months, without water for 3 weeks, but without breathing we can only live for maximum 3 minutes. It's that important, but this is totally ignored. Why? Because it does by itself. We will breathe by itself without any efforts. So we take a lot of things for granted. And now please listen carefully to my statements and slowly pay attention to the air quality around you. Again, remember my 5-step: be alert, be awake, be aware, question anything and everything, apply common sense. Now look at the gas attacks happening. Like recently we see in Syria, they use chemical attack, and what happened? People die instantly. Why? So look at our anatomy of the way we breathe. The moment we breathe, the air goes to the lungs. From the lungs it goes to the heart, the circulatory system, it carries to every cell instantly. So what we breathe actually, you can say, instantly gets into our body. Within 16 seconds, the blood travels from toe back to our heart. It's that fast. So there are a lot of interesting facts about the breathing. We have 100,000 heartbeats a day, 1,500 miles of airways, like 4.73 ounces of blood is pumped per minute by the heart. 16 seconds for the blood to travel from the heart to the toes and back. 15 to 25 breathe per minute. We breathe 15 to 25 times per minute. Maybe we drink water maybe 6 to 8 times a day, and maybe we eat food 3 times or 5 times. So what is most important is still the breathing, 15 to 25 times per minute. So now let's look at the primary sources of indoor air pollution. Actually in our garage, bedroom, attic, bathroom, home office, kitchen, living room, basement, we have problems everywhere in the house. Look at this slide carefully, the sources of indoor air pollution, and look at the consequences. Like computers and office equipment where we spend most of the time, it's actually the pollutant is VOC, volatile organic compounds. And the health risk is organ damage or cancer. Tobacco smoke, again lung cancer and respiratory problems. Gasoline is again VOC, the risk is cancer. Leaky or unvented gas, again in high doses it's fatal. Furniture, carpets, curtains, etc., respiratory irritation and cancer. Hot showers with chlorine treated water, nervous system damage. So when you take a hot shower, probably you will be inhaling a lot of chlorine. And even sometime when you walk past a swimming pool, you can inhale the chlorine smell coming out of it. It's that toxic. So almost everything inside the house we do now actually ultimately leads us to cancer. And we have, because of poor indoor air quality, we have problems with our eyes, upper respiratory tract, lungs, skin, headaches, hypersensitivity, infections. But we don't really pay much attention to the air quality. We think it is a disease and a disorder, and we take drugs, which is again wrong. Why? We are not addressing the root cause of the problem. Then recently when I went to India for a talk, I came across a newspaper article. 30 to 60% of lung cancer patients in Bangalore are non-smokers. The same trend here. Most of the lung cancer cases I saw, they're all non-smokers, and they're in the 30s and 40s. So It doesn't mean only smokers get cancer. It's no more. Actually, the number of non-smokers getting lung cancer is more than people who are smoking getting lung cancers. It's really a very sad thing. And again, if we think it's just related to lung cancer, no. Air pollution damages good cholesterol, leading to heart attack and stroke. See, but do we really correlate? Are we taught to correlate? But no, there are facts published openly. Air pollution linked to higher stroke mortality. Living close to highways may contribute to a wide range of health problems, including autism, cardiovascular diseases, and asthma. Like when I travel in Singapore in the expressways, I look at so many condos built very close to expressways. To me, it's a saddening thing. You pay a high price, stay next to an expressway where the noise level and the air level is going to kill the person living there much faster than living anywhere else. That's how we are. And so far, is there anything done to protect? So far, nothing. The noise pollution and the air pollution is worst. I spoke to some people living near expressways. They said they can't sleep. They have tinnitus problem. They have heart problem. It's true. If you are next to an expressway living there for a long time, it won't happen overnight. It happens over 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. It all depends on how strong your genes are. But living there for too long is no good. And later I'm going to show you an example how you can really spot whether your house is polluted or not. Again, just apply common sense and be alert. Facts are everywhere. You just need to be trained to see. Even living close to major roadway could increase dementia risk. But look, we see all these facts, but what are we doing to prevent and protect? We have to take care of us. That's my, I repeat, we have to really take care. We need to know the cause and we need to look for solutions and fix ourselves. We can't expect a government to come and fix for us. How traffic noise near your home can be a shortcut to early death. Sound linked to higher risk of stroke and heart disease. If you're living to an expressway, sure, these two is the biggest thing. And especially we are living in a part of this world where air pollution is very, very high. Just look at the picture. And in fact, it is by 2012 facts. This entire region is in a very hazardous zone. And because of that, now what happens? It says lung cancer in never smoker Asian females is driven by oncogenic mutations, most often involving EGFR. The problem now we see in Asian population because of the air pollution is the genes get mutated and they're not responding to our treatment. Look, Asian lung cancer tumors may be tougher to treat. Lung cancer is the deadliest cancer. In Singapore, it is the leading cause of cancer death and kills more than 1,100 people each year. It's quite high. So why are non-smokers getting cancer? Why Asian cancers are hard to treat? You know it well, as I said earlier, it's the amount of pollution. We live in dense cities where there is lack of fresh air. I mean, I've seen in Singapore in the last 20 years, so much of old trees have been chopped down. Of course, trees are old, some are weak, and with the strong winds and things are falling, so government is taking precautions to chop them. So our green spaces, though there is one statistic it says is increasing, but I saw right in front of my office, all the old big trees are being chopped off. So I feel our old trees are going off and new trees, I think by the time they grow up, only my son can enjoy it. So we are really chopping a lot of trees and we are getting more and more air pollution. And the next thing is toxic mold. A lot of houses most people don't even know it is the mold and it is toxic. Why? It gets hidden. Because of the humidity here and lack of air movement, air circulation inside the house, there's mold everywhere. Behind the wallpaper, behind the paint, behind the wardrobes, aircon ducts, especially if it is an old building, the aircon ducts may have mold and nobody goes and looks into all that. And we keep inhaling it for the whole day for 1, 2, 3, many years. Finally, when we get disease, we won't even look at all these factors. Why? We have been doing it on a regular day-to-day basis. So look at some of the symptoms, from cognitive to respiratory to emotional to body. They're all labeled as diseases, but the root cause is the mold. And look at this. This is actually this is from my own office. When I moved office, there was a cupboard, and I tried to clean the cupboard, and I saw the cupboard wasn't that strong. So when I knock off, I saw actually mold behind the wall and in between the cupboard, where there was a small gap. Because this gap have no air circulation, mold has developed over time. And many of us, when we build wardrobes, we leave it for a long time. We won't even know whether there is a mold behind. Sometimes it's best to get things changed regularly. And again, I saw even insect eggs. It's quite shocking. So I removed everything and cleaned up the place. This is how we need to be trained to look at spots where mold grows. And again, look at this baby. It is from a doctor. He says mold could kill neurons in the brain and impairs a person's mental ability. And especially if you have a baby, mold toxicity could be fatal. Just look at the stages of mold toxicity on humans. Look at stage 4, and the last word is ultimately death. It's that bad. Remember my 5 points. Be alert, be awake, be aware, question anything and everything, apply common sense. So how do you use this principle to check what is the indoor air quality in your house? So let me demonstrate to you in my own house, which is actually very close to main road. In fact, I'm moving out because I found another place which is so much better in terms of air quality. But this is how I check. So now look at the fan. The fan is the best indicator, one of the best indicator to show the indoor air quality. So every time I clean, so I see the number of days it starts to accumulate. So that shows the intensity of air quality inside your house. So look at my finger, it's clean. So now let me check what's actually on my fan blades. You see this? This is what I pull out from the fan blades. If you see the fibers? It's actually black dust because this place is right next to a main road. It's not really like an expressway, but it's just a main road where there's a lot of traffic in the morning and evening. And you see the fibers? Yes, my house floor, everything is so clean, but yet you see the fibers, the strand? Yeah, this shows that the house actually has a lot of indoor air pollution. And together the black dust actually comes from the vehicle exhaust because it's just right next to the main road. And now I'll take you and show you another fan which will again confirm the air quality. This is actually indoor, the other one is outdoor, it's in the bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom. Now let's look at the second fan in my house. The earlier one was inside. This is an exhaust fan in my bathroom. In fact, it's like a private house. No much of actually air traffic goes in. But yet every 3 months, this is the amount of pollution we see in my place. And again, if you see, we clean it every 3 months. And when I look a closer look at this, too many artificial fibers. I really don't know where is the source of it because my house here outside is very clean, very well kept. There is no much of things which emits synthetic fibers. So it is from the pollution in the air around my place. So now look at my hand and now I'm going to clean. You see? You see the thing? You see the color change from here to here? Let me again clean one more time. See the amount of dust? Look, if you zoom closer, they're all artificial fibers. And from now, you start looking at your own house and see what is the level of air pollution. You clean your fans and then see week by week how much is accumulating. If you're accumulating too much of dust in a short time, my recommendation is do something to improve the air quality of your place. And if you're staying next to a main road or an expressway, you have a lot more work to do to keep an indoor air healthy. If you want more solutions, please do come and talk to us. We can provide you with all the solutions for it. So now I'm going to show you Again, I said, I'm always alert. This is the fan in my bathroom. When we clean it, see, look how clean it is. But in 3 months, look at the quality of it. It is so bad, and when I look at the fibers, they're all microfibers. I don't even know where is the origin of all these fibers. It's nothing but vehicle exhaust, the black spots, and the artificial fibers. This could be from the cloth, from the curtain, from most of the synthetic materials we use. Most of our dress, we are not using cotton anymore. We use polyester, Teflon, and most of that are synthetic materials, and the thing comes out of our dress and we keep inhaling it. And I was really stunned by looking at the amount of dust getting trapped to my fan in 3 months. Imagine if I've been inhaling this air for many years. Sure, I may get into some kind of a respiratory problem or even the big C. And again, this is wherever I travel, I try to take a small air filter with me. This is a hotel I go every year to Las Vegas in August to attend a convention. In 24 hours, when I took at the filter of the air purifier, I was stunned. I saw white powder, total white powder deposited on the filter. It could be anything. Definitely, for sure, nothing is healthy from it. And again, look at our houses. We design our houses so well, but do we look at the quality of the materials and see whether they are good for us? Look at the bed sheet, look at the materials we use. Those things trap dust and retain them. Unless you clean it very well, it's a bit hard to get rid of them. And if it is, especially if it is not ventilated properly, it will be circulating inside the room forever. And the latest report shows there are plenty of microfibers from our clothes. They are even poisoning the ocean. When we wash, from the washing machine goes to the drain to the sewage system, and sewage system, if you have a purifying system, it goes there, else it gets dumped into the oceans and rivers and oceans and streams, and we ended up, now we're polluting the whole ocean. Humans, animals need clean air for living. So this is the most vital thing we need to pay attention to, but it is completely ignored. At least from the slides I showed, you should be able to spot things in your house, especially look at the fans. They are the ones which accumulate a lot of dust. And if you keep on accumulating a lot of dust week after week, it's best you change your house because the place is highly polluted. Else, set up some good air filters, air purifiers. Then also there is a special coating for the wall which you can use, which releases plenty of negative ions and keeps the air clean, that even emits far infrared rays, which is very beneficial for health. So do something to prevent having any kind of a disease or disorder, and especially in my own personal belief, most diseases start from the air we breathe. And when I was in Czech Republic, I was taken to the oldest vegetarian restaurant, and I was surprised to see there was a menu for breatharians. So I asked them, what do they do? Oh, they just say they serve vegetables for people to breathe. There are people in this world who purely lives on breathing, and one such person is in India, Prahalad Jnani. He has not taken anything, not eaten anything for 70 years, yet he is alive. He was done all sorts of medical examinations and nobody could find anything. He doesn't eat or drink. How does he live? Purely by breathing air. It's that important. If you are trained to breathe properly, we need less of food and less of water. Our body can do a lot of things when we breathe right. How many of us are doing belly breathing? Not at all. Most of us work in very stressful environments. At that time, if you just slowly stop what you're doing and observe your breathing, most of your breathing will be so shallow, it will be just right up here. There won't be any abdominal breathing. So if you're not breathing deeply, your body is starved of oxygen. And this is what Dr. Warburg said in 1930. Cancer grows at the absence of oxygen in our body. So he proved it in 1930s, and it's almost 70 years. Again, we always come out with new discoveries. Even now they found 2 new organs in our body. So all the medical books have to be rewritten. So due to advances in technology, we come out with a lot of new discoveries. And now guess what's the latest discovery? An unexpected new lung function has been found. They make blood. Imagine, your blood never lies. Everything starts from the blood. So look how vital it is, the lungs and the air quality in terms of health. Though we cannot see air, but by paying close attention and observation to the things around us, we roughly know the quality of air around us at our workplace or even at home. So from today, please start to be awake and aware and do something to protect your body from impure air around us. Thank you. Now let's move on to water. We all know we came from water. One drop from the father, one drop from the mother, we formed. So our body 70% is water. So like brain is 75% of brain is water, lungs 83%, blood 90%, skin 64%. So everybody says water, water, drink more water, drink 8 cups of water. But I want to first tell you, do you know what a water is? Is anything liquid is called water? Definitely not. In my opinion, it's not even water. In fact, most people are severely dehydrated now because we are not drinking the right water. And most people believe in miracle water. Why? Water got a very special property. It retains everything. It got memory. So it's able to remember everything. In my opinion, most holy waters are actually, it comes from temples or pious places where good things has always been told. So the water retains that vibration, and when we drink it, our cells gets better. That's how I feel we get better when we drink holy water. Watch these videos and see whether the water we are drinking is a real water or it's just a liquid. Look at these photos. How I normally test is, I see whether the food or the water I want to drink, whether an insect drinks. When I leave a normal tap water, nothing goes and drinks it. But when I do some structuring on the water and when I leave outside, I see clusters of ants going and drinking. Just look at it. The water in the copper cup is actually from Japan. It's Mount Fuji has been drilled and the water has taken out, and it's an artesian water, and I leave it outside, I saw ants going and drinking it. And the other one is, I did a special structuring, the molecular resonance to the water, and again if I leave it out, I see clusters of ants going and drinking. Thankfully they all didn't go to university to study. That's how they know what is real and what is fake. Though because we all study too much, our common sense is totally lost. So watch these videos very carefully, and I believe it sets you thinking. Again, now we got plenty and plenty of water systems coming out. Alkaline water, hydrogen water, emerald water. There are so many names, terminologies used to water. So what is water? This alone is a big topic which goes for 1 to 1.5 hours. But at least now you know that if the water is real, insects will go and drink. And it's always best to have a water filter at home. At least even a basic filter is necessary, because when I distill the water, I was shocked what I saw as a sediment. Every time I distill it and open the distiller, I smell a lot of toxic gases coming out. Where are they? Yes, we add fluoride, we add chlorine, we add chloramine. Our water may have residues, pesticide residues, toxin residues, industrial waste, biological waste, pharmaceutical drugs. Like in US water, they tested that they see traces of pharmaceutical drugs in water. So now it's really our water, we really need to filter it and do something about it before we drink. We can't drink straight from a tap. Those days are gone. And just look at this photo. This is a sediment of a distiller after 1 week. So we see so much things, and when I smell it, it's a chemical smell. Nothing is real. So I really distill my water and then I do a structuring of it before I drink. and I feel everybody should do something about their water. If you need more, come talk to me, I'll explain more. Now let's move on to food. This is a big topic by itself, but in summary, what's happening now is we are actually taking too much of processed, refined, packaged food which are devoid in nutrition, because we wanted to extend the shelf life of a product, so we remove certain things and we add in a lot of chemicals inside. If you start reading the labels of most of the products, honestly you will see there is no much of a real food inside. And the problem doesn't start with the adult, it starts even with baby product. Now I'm going to talk about a product which was given to as a sample for my kid, which I kept it until today without feeding them, because when I look at the ingredients in it, I am literally shocked. And the sad part is our Singapore Health Promotion Board has endorsed that product as a healthy product. Let me show that product now and tell you what really stopped me from feeding that product to my kid. Let me show you the product which was given as a sample to my kid and which I didn't use for many years. So this is the product given to my kid as a sample. So here I see Singapore Health Promotion Board has given a healthier choice logo, and it says lower in sugar, lower in saturated fat. But when I look at the ingredients, I don't see anything that healthy. The ingredients, it says first instant skim milk powder. What is skimming? Skimming of ATM? Something like this. You skim the milk, take out all the good things, and what is left is instant skim milk powder. All the fat layer is removed. Then the second ingredient is lactose. Then lecithinated instant whole milk powder. But if I look at it, the first ingredient says instant skim milk powder, and again I see instant whole milk powder, but there is no percentage. I don't even know in this pack what is the percentage of real milk, real whole fresh milk. I don't see that percentage. And again, sucrose, again it's a sweetener. Then comes corn syrup solids. So when I look at the research of corn syrup, actually it is one of the ingredient which actually is present in so many of the foods leading to diabetic, and we are giving it to a baby. And the worst part, what really shocked me is it says artificial flavor. The name itself is very clear and blunt, it's straight on face, artificial flavor. How can we give an artificial flavored product to a baby? No wonder now we have a lot of young children having numerous problems. Why? We are not giving them real food. We are giving them fake food like substances for life. No wonder they are getting diabetic at the very young age. This is one fine example of how we have been fooled by giving a healthy logo. And literally what shocked me was when I look at the Health Promotion Board website, they say 65% of Singaporeans buy product based on this health logo. I really feel deceived because they use public funds to deceive, distract and destroy 65% of the people's health in Singapore. That's how I interpret this message as, based on this simple thing. This is just one fact. If you look at the Health Promotion Board, they have been giving almost about 7 logos: lower in saturated fat, trans fat free, lower in sodium, higher in whole grains, lower in sugar, higher in calcium. But when you look at every single product, literally none of them is healthy. Now let me show you another product which is again so blunt. The facts is so blunt, but they still used to deceive and destroy us. Likewise, I can show 100 products how they have been deceiving, distracting and destroying us by giving wrong logos for unhealthy products. Let me show you another product. Can you see this? What does it say? It says olive oil, and we have a health logo saying trans fat free, lower in saturated fat. We have another trans fat free heart symbol, halal symbol, and a product from Australia, and they put a picture of an olive. and the product says olive oil spread. Remember this, olive oil spread. But when I look at the ingredients at the back, the first line it shows vegetable oils, bracket olive oil 23%, bracket water emulsifiers E471 and blah blah blah, including preservatives, colorings and flavorings. So how are they distracting us? They are putting a picture of an olive, they are putting olive oil spread, they are giving us a healthy logo, but the ingredient, the main ingredient itself is actually olive oil 23%. So what is the balance? 77%. What is that 77%? I would say it is nothing but absolute shit. And look what we have done. So again, when I search the internet, there is a picture of it. Even an ant doesn't even eat this product, but we have given healthy logo and made people as fools and made them eat. Such a shit. No wonder we have tremendous amount of heart problems escalating day by day. Why? It's all because of such products. Likewise, I can talk about 100 products. Every single thing from a baby product like this to an adult product. Sadly, we have not applied common sense and we used fake science to deceive, distract and destroy people. So far, I have covered air toxicity, water toxicity and food toxicity. In fact, I only gave you a glimpse. So in my actual course, I cover everything in depth, which lasts for many hours, but at least you know how to be awake, alert and start looking things around. Now let me move on to lifestyle. Everybody, the moment we wake up, what we do is we brush our teeth. So let's look at the product, what has been advertised and marketed heavily around Colgate toothpaste. Just now look at the ingredient. What do you see? Take a split second and look at the label again. In some places they call it in a different name, but look at the main thing. It's called drug facts. The label is so clear, it says drug. How can you put a drug without a prescription in a toothpaste which a child to an adult uses few times a day? I've seen some people, I don't know for whatever reason, after every time they eat, they have to brush teeth with the toothpaste. They are ingesting more and more poisons actually. Just look, drug facts. But in Singapore, if you look at the label, it put active ingredients. This is a US label. So when you read the thing, the first thing is sodium fluoride and the other one is triclosan. So if I did a research, a simple research on all this, but they use words of distraction like prevention of cavities, plaque and gingivitis. But look, a lot of facts is very blunt on the label. It says warning, keep out of the reach of children under 6 years of age. If more than used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact a poison control center right away. How the hell can we put a drug and a poison into our toothpaste and we say it is healthy, but many dentists promote it? Now remember the words of doctor in India who spoke. Most doctors have become agents of something. This is one such sad example. Then I did a research on the active ingredients. When I did a research, actually triclosan is used in many products, cosmetics, antibacterial soaps, toothpaste, cutting boards, school supplies, textiles, cleaning supplies, etc. And what happens? It disrupts our hormone. It is a drug. It's an antibacterial drug given by doctors on prescription, but now that's freely available in many domestic products, and no wonder we have a big resistance to antibiotics now. Now doctors are saying antibiotics are not working anymore. Why? We have been abusing it. It's not only in this. We give a lot of antibiotic growth hormones to the cows and dairy stuff, and when we take the products, we again build antibiotic resistance. And we have MRSA kind of stuff. It's why? It's because of the abuse we do on a day-to-day basis. And again, when I look at the bottled water content, it shows contains fluoride. And when I did a research on fluoride, it says fluoride is actually a poison. It's very clearly said keep out of reach of children. And every single fluoride bag has a danger mark on it. It's been used as an insecticide. And now that is in our toothpaste, and we say it is a very healthy toothpaste, use it few times a day. I don't know really how it works. I said health and wealth is your personal responsibility and a personal liability. I'm only here to make you think. It's your choice. If you think it's healthy, by all means use more or eat more. If you think it's bad, better do something and change. This is again just one example. Likewise, I have 100 more examples to cover on the lifestyle thing we do on a daily basis, leading us to so much of disease and disorders. Now I want to talk about the refined oils we use in many of our cooking. From hawker center to restaurants to our homes, we all now use refined oil like canola oil, palm oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil. We got so many brands, so many names, but ultimately it is a refined oil. I just want to show you one example. Look at the product label. What do you see? Take a second. Read it carefully, word by word. You see a word called refined and deodorized. Again, go below. You can see something called ingredients, highly refined, bleached and deodorized. Normally, where do you bleach? We bleach a cloth. We bleach our white clothes to make it more whiter. But why is our oil bleached? And why is our oil deodorized? Deodorization, we use it here. Why? It stinks, so we use deodorization. Likewise, why is an oil deodorized? Well, if you have anybody running an oil factory, go and ask them. When they do the refining process, the oil starts to become murky color and it starts to stink. So they throw in chemicals to separate the sediment and the oil. And the oil, the very crystal clear oil you see on the supermarket shelves, are basically refined and deodorized. It looks pure, but all goodness is removed. And again, this is what used in many of our cooking processes. And again, this is one cause for our body to suffer. Why? Our cells actually needs a fatty layer around it. We are born with the fatty layer around our cells, but when we use all this refined oil which has no good fats at all, our body suffers. No wonder when cell starts to dysfunction, our body tissue starts to dysfunction. When tissue starts to dysfunction, organ starts to dysfunction. When organ starts to dysfunction, our system starts to dysfunction. At the end, we get disease and disease labels. And we start again fighting diseases with again drugs, toxic drugs, which are either inhibit or block or our body process. You look at the drugs we use for blood pressure, it all comes under A, B, C, D. A is for ACE inhibitor, B, beta blocker, C, calcium channel blocker, D, diuretics. Where are we addressing the root cause of the diseases? We are only blocking or inhibiting a basic metabolic process. Yes, we need to do it in terms of emergency, but you do it on a daily basis, you are actually inhibiting a body process. The best is we need to make everything working in our body and not inhibit or block. So why look at all these are some of the factors which really our body doesn't know what to do with the food we eat, so it starts to suffer. We get disease because of the way we live, the way we eat, the way we drink, the way we breathe. Because of what happens if we do it wrongly, everything starts with illness, sickness, disease, disability, pain, misery, death. This is how the downward slope works. So the best is prevent. Live right, eat right, and you can avoid most of the present day problems which are mainly our lifestyle related. And this cooking oil is one of the things. Likewise, there are hundreds more to talk. Now let me talk a little bit about environment. So far I spoke about air, water, food And now let me talk about how the environment we live is actually causing us a lot of health hazards. Look at the video. We all have a bedroom like this. We have a bed, two sides, we have a side table, and we have a light on it. So there is an electricity passing behind us all the time, and that's what you see in the video. So we use a meter to check, because there is an electric field going right behind my head, and our body has water. The water starts to resonate and it starts to absorb the electric field, and it runs throughout our body. So what's the solution? Again, look at the video. When we implement a cutoff switch, the moment we off the light and when there is no load, the switch totally cuts off the power running behind our headboard. Then there is no electric field and a magnetic field. So when we check our body, so we have a zero EMF. Honestly, everybody should be sleeping in that kind of an environment. But the biggest problem now is the Wi-Fi. We do not know, now we all live in apartments, so every house have an Wi-Fi, and now the Wi-Fi speed is actually going higher and higher. So we are now surrounded in a web of Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi from our house, our neighbor house on the left, on the right, on top, bottom, from few floors. Like when we on a Wi-Fi in a city, we see 20-30 signals. We are maxed out. So what's the consequence of it on health? Honestly, nobody knows. Why? There is no test conducted. But however, when I read the third party report, who all does a research on it, actually it's not healthy. It's going to damage. And I remember something what I read on papers long time ago, that one doctor said in his practice, in the past he used to see people of 60, 70 and above with brain tumors, and the same doctor is now seeing a lot of young children with brain tumors. Could Wi-Fi and the EMF be a cause? Well, for now I really don't have an answer, but very soon we will get a report about all this, and I believe the artificial frequencies we are surrounded by all day and all night has one leg into the kind of diseases and disorders we have. And there are a lot of videos about people who are electromagnetically sensitive. They can't handle the cell phones, they can't handle Wi-Fi, they are like living in a cage. Just look at the glimpses of the videos we see. And during our course, we cover a lot more in depth about all these factors. So this is just a glimpse about how our environment is harming us. So far I have covered air, water, food, environment. Now let me move on to lifestyle related issues, and I would like to talk about just two things now. The first thing is actually in our house, the toilet bowl. Ever since we replaced squatting toilet bowls with the sitting type, I believe it has a lot of effect towards, it contributes a lot towards our colon cancer. First of all, of course, it's just the multiple factors. The way we eat, drink also contributes, but defecation, it means we are supposed to completely eliminate our bowels. But I see a big difference in myself. Every time I use a squatting toilet bowl, I see a lot of shit coming out. But when I use a toilet bowl, I don't see so much. And probably that's one reason, again, we are keeping shit inside our colon for a long time. It develops into colon cancer together with not taking the right food, not eating right. And when we were young, we were taught to look at our own stools. When we look at it, we know if undigested food comes out, that our body is not able to digest it. But now, because of the toilet bowl, the stool goes straight into the water and we don't even know what's coming out. Honestly, it is nothing but what we eat. What we put here at this side comes out through the other end. And that tells a lot about the entire digestive tract, which is the longest thing. But because of our current toilet bowl, we really can't see something until blood starts to come out, and that's how we go see a doctor too late. By then most people are diagnosed with last stage in colon cancer. Why? I have met a couple of people. A customer told me was for 8 years he never even ate one strand of vegetable for 8 years. Sadly, he died. Why? From the time he was diagnosed, it was already too late. He was too busy at work, too much of stress at work, financial stress, family stress, business stress, together with a bad habit of not even eating a vegetable for 8 years, led to cancer. And probably if he had used a squatting toilet bowl, probably he could have seen drops of blood at a much earlier stage. But I think it's too late. He passed away, and it's a sad thing. And because lung cancer and colon cancer is on the rise here, perhaps it's best we start using our squatting toilet bowl and see what's really coming out of our body. It is much earlier to prevent. Earlier intervention saves lives. Then let me talk about the other thing about lifestyle disorders. Our apartments in Singapore are shrinking, but our TVs are getting bigger. Late nights, we are sitting in front of a big television watching shows at the time when we are supposed to sleep by nature. Look at a bird. The moment sun sets, everything go back to their nest. But look at us. We are always so proud to say our city never sleeps. So what's happening? When we are not sleeping at the right time, when we are not following the nature's rhythm, again it affects our health. Have you all heard about a term called circadian rhythm? That's the rhythm of our body, aligned with nature. But the moment we go against it, of course, again we develop new set of diseases. Especially Singapore is the most light polluted country as per research. So what happened? Because our light goes through the eyes and it stimulates the pineal gland, it keeps thinking, oh, it's still daylight, and it's not secreting enough melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep hormone, and it's the master antioxidant given by the body for free. But by keeping awake late at nights, like watching TV, using phones, or doing something under a bright light, we are constantly preventing our body from releasing a free antioxidant, which is the best, and we always prefer to take synthetic antioxidants. Look at our ignorance or stupidity. And there is a one common factor among researchers with people with breast cancer: low levels of melatonin and low levels of vitamin D3. It's a one common factor for breast cancer people. So why? Again, we don't go out in sun. We were told sunlight causes cancer, so we stay indoor. And again, we use too much of artificial light around us, especially the blue lights. So they keep stimulating our pineal gland, and it doesn't secrete enough melatonin, and because of that we can't sleep. I see so many people living in big cities, they have the same problem. Now combined with Wi-Fi, combined with artificial electromagnetic fields, magnetic fields around us, together with this artificial lighting, it's really affecting our body. Our body is not designed to handle all this. When when humans started life on this earth, we didn't have all this. But now we got too much of artificial things affecting our health. So it's best, if you want to have a good sleep, learn to sleep in a dark room. Wear an eye mask at least, and then try not to watch TVs something after 7-8 p.m. If you want better, record the show and watch it during daytime, and please do not spend your time watching television late at nights or being awake at nights too much. It will really affect your health over long run. So far I covered air, water, food, environment, lifestyle. Now let me talk a little bit about mental wellness. Honestly, in Singapore, the mental health is getting worse and worse. As per my friend Mr. Yen Lu, who lost his only son to suicide at the age of 26, dedicates his life for promoting and creating awareness on mental wellness. When I had a recent chat with him, he said 22% of Singaporean children harbor thoughts of suicide. It's really a disaster. Children, they are not adults. Parents will do anything for the children. But look what, 22% of children in Singapore harbor suicide thoughts. It's really alarming. We have to really look at the way we do our education. I guess they are loaded tons and tons of things, but honestly most of it is unnecessary. Our whole school system have to be revamped. Just look at, I always ask most people, what did you study? Or they say, I did in accounts, did engineering, so many things. But I ask them, what do you use everything in your day-to-day life? The answer most people is say zero. Honestly, what we learn in kindergarten and our primary school, English, as a matter of language to communicate, and as simple mathematics, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. This is what we need on a day-to-day basis for a living. But we study too much things which we don't even use practically. What's the point in stressing a children to learn, memorize and vomit in exams to get grades, but practically when they don't know what to do in life? We need to be taught about agriculture because we eat 3 times a day. We need to know about agriculture. We need to know every single thing about what we need to do in life. Our vocational training have to be reintroduced in our schools. How to repair things, how to do house wiring, how to do painting, how to do repair of our things. But sadly, most of the things we want in our life is taken away from us. But we are forced to learn a lot of things which is not useful to us in many ways, and that actually drives a lot of stress. Stress may be unseen, unfelt, but our body can feel it. I would say stress is the number one factor behind everything. We need to really focus on what we need in life and just go after it. Perhaps accumulating wealth, as I said earlier, doesn't give us a lot of happiness. We need to be connected back to nature. We need to harbor good and positive thoughts, less of stress, enjoy life. We need to be in a good company. Can you believe what is the latest research on longevity? It's not about all the diet or everything. It's about the company we have around us. If we have a good company, good support from our spouse, good support from our environment like our friends, our relatives, the people around us, that's what keeps us going. So really focus on harboring good mental thoughts, do a lot of meditation, spiritual cultivation that will really keep you healthy. So far I've covered air, water, food, environment, lifestyle, mental and emotional issues, and let me talk a little bit about spirituality. In my personal opinion, spirituality and religion are poles apart. Spirituality has nothing to do with religion. Religions is what we go after, but spirit to me is the most important. I always tell people, when I came to this world, I didn't bring anything with me, but what came with me was my spirit and body. As long as these two are together, I'm able to achieve what I want in this world. But the moment either the body has a disease or the spirit leaves the body, it's of no use. Like when people call me Arutziva, as long as I am alive, but the moment my spirit leaves the body, I'm called the body, my name is gone. That's how it is. So please put efforts more to understand about your spirit. That is most important. And when you become more and more aware, you will see the life all around us is connected. We are not alone. Every single life around us is connected, and that needs realization. So do more to cultivate your spirit, and you will know who you are. I repeat again what I said earlier. Be thyself, know thyself. Be still and know who you are. Everybody have to put efforts into this to know who they are. It can't be bought outside. Go deep inside of you, you will know who you are. So far I spoke about air, water, food, environment, lifestyle, mental and emotional, spiritual, and the last topic is genetics. Most people actually don't pay attention to this, but to me, we always hear people saying, oh, cholesterol runs in my family, diabetic runs in my family genes. Honestly, to me, those things doesn't run in a gene. People don't run. it's not genes run in the family. To some extent it is true. And I want to show you a picture. You see, especially for females, actually if you ask me who nourished you, actually it's your grandma. When your mother was inside her mother's womb, you were already an egg in your mother. You look, one woman nourishes 3 generations. Genes is really that important. But again, one good thing is genes are very adaptable. As long as we don't trigger it, we don't have to worry about inheriting a bad gene. And I'm going to show you a real case history of a father who speaks about the loss of 2 of his sons, and one son is actually due to a genetic effect. And I'm going to show you the case history soon. Father says, I lost my second son last week. The first one was lost to an avalanche and the second to suicide. He struggled with depression most of his life. He was 33 years old. I'm not posting this because I'm looking for sympathy. I'm looking for something else. What is that something else? It is the chemical imbalance or a genetic predisposition towards mental illness. Look at the family, what he says. I was totally clueless and unprepared for the traumas that await me after I married into a family of an alcoholic history. My mother-in-law was also bipolar and later psychotic, and it never even occurred to me that any of my children might inherit a genetic predisposition. When the illness first showed itself in Nate, he was about 13 years old. What do you really learn from this? Yes, he was married to an alcoholic family. But look at the way we have our systems here. The moment you come out of every airport, what is the shop you cross? It's a duty-free shop. And what do they sell? Liquor, alcohol. And look what alcohol has done to this family. It actually, his genes become weak, and people drink alcohol on a day-to-day basis, and we promote it. TVs can advertise, newspaper can advertise, and it's such a bad thing, but we can openly advertise. So look, because he was married into a family of alcoholic, his son actually inherited a weak gene, but until 13 nothing triggered, but from 13 onwards it triggered, and by 33 he committed suicide. So what does that mean? It means yes, until 13 though you inherit a weak gene, but nothing triggered it. But at the age of 13, something could have triggered, and this could have come from air toxicity, water toxicity, food toxicity, environment toxicity, lifestyle toxicity, or some sort of mental toxicity due to the chemical imbalance. That's why it is very, very, very important to stay healthy generation after generation. I hope the things I shared with you in the last 1 hour made some sense, and by now, at least from now, you will be more alert, more awake, more aware. You start to question and everything, and you apply common sense. I only have one last thing to share with you, is just trust our body, as I said earlier, is designed for self-regulating and self-adapting. But for the body to stay healthy, to do its own functions, it just needs few things. And those few things are sunshine, clean air, pure and structured water, nutrient-dense, organic, whole, fresh, pure, simple, natural foods, movement, exercise, body work, rest, sleep, relaxation, spiritual, and a good company. Actually, if you provide all this to the body, your body knows what to do, and it will keep all your 11 systems healthy. If you want to know more, please attend our educational talks, which we hold regularly at our center, to give you in-depth coverage on all the topics I discussed in more detail. Contact us at meditherapy.sg, or you call us at 6338-3345 or 9755-3155 or our 9222-2422. Thank you.